Hey guys, today's UI starts in a bit of a messy room. I don't know if I can show you half of this, but this is more or less my childhood room, if you will. This is where it all started. That's my computer ceiling PC thing. I don't know if you guys remember that. I actually had a ceiling PC and it was a meme for a little while. I guess I've moved a bunch of times in the past, so I don't really know if it is that childhood room. I want to hurry up real quick because the door is open. It's been so hot here for the last few days. I have a nerd shelf still in this room, and I wanted to I kind of go over it, I guess, and show you. Maybe I'll film it real quick, and then I'll just freeze frame on the thing so I don't have to leave the lights on too long. That's Funny Stories. Oh, my first Genshin Impact merch. I'm pretty sure it's fake. I got that years ago. Yeah, everything here has a story, and I'll go over it as we go. Yeah, just going down real quick. Yep, those are teeth. And there you go. Now I'll go over this and pause. Wait, did I get the... I did get that. That's a bunch of video games because, believe it or not, I am a nerd. Wow, look at this. 200 subscriber Valorant video. I did make that. And I bought Hitman all that time ago. That was before I had like 300 subs. Gaston, that's a series unlisted on main channel on some other games as well. So crazy actually. So yeah, there you go. I'm gonna go over everything in there and I have some stuff in my own room as well, but I'm gonna turn the lights off so that no bugs come and bite. Bite. Yes. There's one snack remaining. I'm taking it. Okay, a real quick scan of this as well for the same reason. I'll pause it after everything has a bit of lore. Yep, bye. Hey friends, you might have seen the post on the main channel. I have a really busy month coming up, and so I finished today with exploration video. I actually finished it in one day, one sitting. I started this morning at 10 and I just finished, and it is 11:30. So yeah, I've been working on it for a little while, and I somehow managed to do it all in one day, which is ridiculous. I never succeed at doing that. The explorers are insane. It's 2 hours long as well. Yeah, I'm just yapping a little bit because I'm feeling some relief, and now I'm starting with a July video, which is somehow the one before last already. Tomorrow is the last July of this year. And maybe it was very stupid to do July, but I'll go over that tomorrow because that's like the recap yap as we always do. I say we always do, we've done it once, this will be the second time, but whatever. Let's go over these shelves. I've taken pictures of them independently, and then I think it'll be fun to just talk about them as we go. So, first picture right here. I will start from the far right, maybe. And I'll start with the Game Boy there, the yellow one. The yellow Game Boy is the first console I have ever owned. It was secondhand and not from a thrift shop, but actually from people that were here as like, I don't know if it's common for any, I guess, culture to do that, but in the Netherlands it's very common to, your parents make friends at work, and then you have a holiday somewhere and you go with them. But they're not really like close friends, they're actually just like work friends. And I don't know, there's a weird connection often with these people. And I don't know if this is also Dutch, but money talks are usually pretty awkward, you know? But in between people in the Netherlands, I feel like it's super common and people do it super easy all the time. So I bought this off my parents' work friends' kids, or at least my parents bought it for me because I was like 5 years old or something. I'm pretty sure they had 2 games with it, some like silly bike game. I know it still exists, it's Crazy Bikes or something. It was actually really fun. Every time I played it, I had a great time. And I think one Pokemon game as well, but I don't really remember that too well. And these people kept coming back for a long time. I actually have another story about them that I'll tell it now. I like collecting. You can see there's a bunch of old consoles here. Some of these were actually mine from when I grew up, and some of them I added to the collection as I got older because I never had them as a kid, and I wanted them in like a collection or be able to play the games on them, etc. Just, you know, the original, the cool OG versions of them. And so these people kept coming back for years, and I had a favorite secondhand shop. You know, it's crazy to say because the hobby gaming evolves really fast, and especially now that games, you know, you don't buy to own anymore. I don't know if it ever was. I guess it was with the Game Boy games, but you purchase digitally most of the time now. And if you do buy something physical, there's still a chance you need to like log in online, and you're just paying for a license to play the game and not the game itself. Secondhand gaming back then was way different because you just buy the cartridge and it's yours, right, forever. And so my favorite secondhand shop actually had, and it was like a secret domain to me, right? And my mom and I used to go there every now and then. Sometimes after I had like an eye operation or going to the dentist, you know, it'd be like a little relief type of thing. She brought these children, these work friends' children there, and I have never felt more betrayed because they bought the Game Boy Advance games that I wanted to get there. I was like a little boy. I had no money and I couldn't buy them myself. And my mom would have probably bought them for me eventually. But since she brought these people, they bought them and they came back after I was still at school because the Dutch people get holidays before the French schools. And so I was still in school. I get home and I see them arrive in the car and they're just playing this to what to me looked like a new Pokemon game that they just got at that thrift shop. And I could not tell you how fuming I was. I was so jealous and so mad. I felt so betrayed. Either way, that's a whole lot of story around this Game Boy because they had the next gen, right? That's why they sold me this. That's because they already had the new one. But now I have this really cool old Game Boy still and my first console ever. So I really cherish that thing. I think it's super cool. And look, it doesn't even look that bad in my opinion. Okay, next. My second console is the Zelda one behind it. I got a limited edition. It's actually insane. My parents got that for me. It was with Minish Cap, which I still haven't finished. And I really want to do a series on that someday. I really want to play the Minish Cap still from start to end one day in a series because that's my first game that I kind of understood on a deeper level, even though I never got to finish it because my English wasn't good enough and the game was definitely just in English. But yeah, Minish Cap, super cool game. Then we have a Game Boy Advance, the non-flip screen one. I think the golden one is called SP. This purple one is just called Advance. I bought that one recently. I never had that one. My cousin had it. He had the gray transparent one and it looked so cool. I was also jealous of that because I still had the big bricky yellow one at that time and that one looked so cool. So I wanted one for myself. Got that one with box and everything. And I think honestly, if I can find that one in like gray transparent, or if you guys have any old consoles that you don't care about, I love that kind of stuff. Please send it to my P.O. box. Anyway, then there's these three Luigis, and I don't remember how I only remember one of them. They're like the same as the Mario one. I'm pretty sure they either come from a thrift shop or they were like when I went to McDonald's for the last time, so when I was 11 or something. They were in the Happy Meals. But what I found so funny is that why is Luigi always posing the same way? These three are not from the same time at all. I think the big one is from like an Easter egg, like a literal Easter egg. The small one is from a Kinder Egg, maybe. And the middle one is from McDonald's, I assume. I don't know. But they all have the same pose all the time. And I thought that was so funny, so I put them beside each other. Then we got that Pikachu thing. It's like it's like a squirty toy. You like absorb water with it, and then at the bottom you can squish it, and then it just ejects water. I'm pretty sure that's all there is to it. Then we have my first DS on the far left there, the blue thing. The hinges actually started getting destroyed because I used it so much. I played that thing so much. Favorite game on there? I would say very funny because I actually used to use the DS game share feature a ton because I lived at this park, right? And so a bunch of other children from the Netherlands came there and we used to just always split games, like split screen games or whatever you call it, with these cards called R4 cards. R4, I think that's what it's called. And it was just ROMs. You were not supposed to do that. But we played games and shared them always. And we played Call of Duty. And Call of Duty online on DS, like local LAN, whatever, Wi-Fi, whatever connection, was incredibly fun. Second favorite, probably Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. I think it was probably because it was the Pokemon I started understanding the most, and I like the music, I like the atmosphere, I like the Pokemon, I like the starters, everything around it. So yeah. Then we have that gray DS that's laying on the face. I don't know how it fell over, but it did. That one actually broke because my mom sprayed window cleaning stuff on the touchscreen, expecting to clean it, not expecting it to completely destroy it, which it did. And so that's why she got me this Nintendo DSi beside it. Cool console, used it a bunch, but definitely not as iconic as the two other ones. PSP in front of it, I think. Yeah, PSP. I got that for myself when I was done with one of the school years, like the end of one big school year. They're divided in different like big segments in France, and at the end of one of them I got this for myself. I played a bunch of it one summer. I played some Naruto game where you climb some dojo tower. It was really bad. I just played it because the fighting was kind of fun and I needed to get value from it. The original reason I got it was because I remember seeing Invisimals ads when I was younger, and that looked so cool. So you put a little camera on top of your PSP and then it summons like in augmented reality, these demons. I thought it was so cool, but yeah, it didn't really work that well. I kind of want to play it again, actually. Maybe I'll do a video on that if I can, but I don't have no idea how to record my PSP, to be completely honest. Classic, a Funko Pop in the background. A lot of the stuff here is gifts I got from people that know I like gaming, and you guys know, if you guys like gaming, I'm sure of it. There's a lot of people, when they know you like gaming, the two things they know from gaming is Mario, Sonic, and Pokemon. Nintendo, usually. Are you playing on your Nintendo? And that was, like, Funko Pop is another one of those things. People know it's like a gamer thing. So one of my first gifts I got was that Funko Pop. And as much as I really do not care about Mercy from Overwatch, it has some sentimental value to me. Same for that Brock right there. That was one of my first physical toys. I also had Ash, but I don't know what happened to the boy. I think maybe he got thrown in the sand a bit too much. I definitely used to play in the sand a bunch with these, and Brock was the only survivor. He's so cool. I love that toy. I also, a lot of sentimental value mostly. And that Pikachu plushie, I think I won. I have no idea where from, but I won it at some point. Some tournament or some like event. I don't know. It might not seem like it, guys, but when I try, I'm actually decent. Anyway, let's go to the second row. That was a big yap for one row. Okay, this isn't actually a row. This is more of the top shelf, and I never cleaned this up. Right there is the cables for a GameCube. That's further down in the shelf, so that's not really interesting. This Oasis thing, Oasis can, was like a collab with Naruto, and same thing as always. You know, it's like, ooh, gaming, but it's anime. It's not really gaming, but someone got it for me because it was nerdy. So thank you. Same goes for these two Xbox things. It's like, it's so cute. People that don't know gaming will get you things that are gaming branded. And so an Xbox pair of socks and an Xbox lava lamp looking thing are two things that people would tend to get for you because it's, oh, Xbox, I recognize the name, right? And so gaming as a theme for them already rings a bell and associate it with you. And so even though it's as wide as saying like I like football and then you get a shirt from the rival club, it's kind of similar with this. Like, I appreciate these gifts a ton, but these are like bait gifts that people that don't know much about the hobby, I guess, would get you, which these were exactly that. Then the Paimon I talked about already, that was like some fake merch. I got that when I got my first 10k subscribers. I was like, I need something to commemorate Genshin because this is already, just these 10k subscribers came because of Genshin, and they mean so much to me that I need something to commemorate it by. It will be this piece of cheap plastic that is definitely not original and not real, but that's the one. Then there's just some random boxes to fill the space. Like, I think this is a Switch Ether port or Ethernet port or something like that. It's something stupid. That cap over there also, I bought shoes at a shop sometime, and the guy was so happy that I bought them that he was like, hey, you like that? I was looking at the hat. He was like, you like that hat? I was like, no, I'll just hold it because I don't know, I was bored or something, so I was walking around with the hat, and I wanted to put it back, and he's like, you like the hat, dude? No, it's okay, you can have the hat for free. And I'm like, I don't want the hat, I haven't worn it once. It's like cork. I'm not wearing your cork hat, get out of here. But yeah, free cork hat, guys. Add it to the nerd shelf, I guess. Next page. There's not too much here either. As I said, I like collecting stuff. I think the most thing that stands out here is my childhood awful teeth thing. I had that made when I got my first braces, and they asked me when the treatment was done, do you want them? Because lower is actually how my teeth look now, so fixed. But yeah, my teeth looked pretty bad when I was younger. Unlucky DNA, I guess, but it's fixed now, so that's why I wanted to keep it, because look at how far it came from. And when I talk about goblin teeth right there. And there's a bunch of toys. I think these are also from McDonald's from like 15 years ago. I think 2 of them were actually mine, and then some more I got given, but that's like Sonic, Knuckles, and Cream, which I thought was very cool. And there's some these characters I used to play with in the sand. Same with Brock, the Reggie Ice, the Paris. Then in the back there is some Kinder Surprise eggs. We got some Mario Kart team things like Yoshi, Mario, Peach, Baby Peach. A dead Mario also fallen over. You can see it's some cheap junk. Look at that. Look at how bad the painting is on that and everything. Then there's this really cool Pokeball tin. There were 3 packs in there, and I actually got one really expensive card in that tin. I got, there was a Pokemon set with like a duo, I think, 2 different legendaries together and their trainer or something like that.
And I got the black and white legendaries together. I think the card was worth, at the time when I checked, 120 euros. And I'm pretty sure they only get more expensive because those sets don't get printed anymore. So yeah, I got a really expensive card in that tin, which I thought was pretty cool. That Yoshi mug is a gift I got from my mom. Same reasoning as everything. It's like, ooh, Mario, that's gamer stuff. And then I think it's actually an incredible mug. I love it. I don't want to drink out of it because I think it just looks so cool. So I'm not using it. I'm just displaying it. Then there's that other Pokeball thing. That actually was a toy. It was like kind of Tamagotchi-like a little bit. There was also a Pokedex. I don't know where my Pokedex is though, but they used to go together and they had little pins. You could connect them. You could transfer things from your Pokedex to your Pokeball. Maybe you could attach it to your pants and it count your steps or something. I don't remember. It was very dorky. Very dorky. But yeah. It's still pretty cool. And then all these Pez things is the same. Also gifts, because it's like, ooh, gamer stuff, which is the explanation for most of this stuff. And then a bunch of Game Boy games in front of it, because one day I want to get enough of these. I'm trying to get all the cheap Game Boy games I can find. I want to make a mosaic, because that shop I was on about earlier, the Sanctuary, you know, the secondhand heaven, they had a glass top counter, and under that, a mosaic of just a bunch of Game Boy games, and it looked so good. I want to remake it. So that's one of my long-term goals. I'm trying to get as much Game Boy games. Doesn't matter what they are, they just need to look okay, like presentable. But what the game is does not matter to me at all. So again, if you have any junk Game Boy type of stuff laying around, please do send it to me. And if you have a secondhand shop around you, let me know, because if you have good deals there, I'm buying all of it. I don't care which language it's in. I want it all. This is a really bad picture I took. The Pokemon thing up there is a mug as well. Same, it's a Pokeball instead of the Yoshi thing. Same thing, nerdy gift. We have a Super Nintendo 64. We have the fixed teeth. Look at that. Very beautiful now. We have SNES. Or is that normal NES? I think it is SNES. I think it's SNES. I'm not sure. Behind there is a toolkit of chocolate tools. That has some deep lore. So when I was younger, I was a huge Bob the Builder fan. I had merch. And I'm not talking this silly ass bad new Bob the Builder. I'm talking this round rugby ball head looking ass dude. That was my guy. And Wendy, that was my girl. So those two were the ones that mattered to me. And I remember when I left the Netherlands for France, we moved out. It was like a we're not turning back moment. And I've only been back in the Netherlands twice since then. I was 4 years old. I remember the last thing I did back then, we went to a bakery, and as a goodbye gift, I was allowed to pick out one thing, and this bakery had made some like, this is very Dutch as well. They used to not really do Christmas, but we used to do Sinterklaas, Saint Nicholas, and so you would get a chocolate letter, the first letter of your name. And it's funny because like usually if your name starts with an I, it's not a lot of chocolate, so you'd get an M instead, because it'd be just a bunch of I's, but also you'd get more chocolate, right? Anyway, when I went to that bakery, they had a chocolate letter, but then it wasn't a letter, it was a hammer. And that's the last thing I remember doing in the Netherlands ever when I was a kid. Before we left to France, and essentially didn't really turn back ever. So yeah, that was kind of a reference to that. I remember telling my parents, and then they got sentimental about it and they got me that. And then there is a GameCube on the far right, and Pokemon Stadium for the Nintendo 64 as well, because all these consoles, by the way, I never owned in the past. I bought all of these as an adult with my own money, and I barely got to experience or play any games on these. But I just love how they look, I love the history they have, and it's just my jam. I love this kind of stuff. So that was pretty fast. Here is kind of the same thing, the box for Nintendo Switch, the original one. I got the Pokemon edition because I'm a pigeon, if you guys remember. I explained what a pigeon was a little while ago in another live video. Then we have, what is that on the left? It's a very destroyed box for a different console that I don't remember? I don't know what that is. We have two GameCube controllers, one cheap, one garbage, and one official, like, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate release one. That's actually really good. Still use that for everything. Then we have a normal NES. No, this is the SNES. Okay, so the NES is the one above. Whatever. Then two more mugs. Yeah, I have infinite mugs. Like, we're never running out of things to drink out of in this household, thanks to that. A Nintendo 2DS. Never had that either, so I purchased that with my own money as an adult as well. And a Mario puzzle, because branding, as I'm saying, gamer stuff. So yeah, these are going a bit fast now to give more context. And then finally, you have the bottom one. This is my grandpa used to collect, and maybe he gave me down his collector's disease, I would almost say, instead of a passion, because it's just really expensive usually. He's like a real grandpa. He used to collect coins and what do you call those? The rectangular things you put on your mail to send them. I forgot what they're called. It's a stereotypical difficult thing to collect anyway. But he gave me a bunch of his coins because he knew I liked collecting as well. My relation with my grandpa was very odd. I won't get into it too much because it's like, I don't really care about talking about it. Like, maybe it's just not that interesting for you guys, but it wasn't the best relationship. And I feel like this was kind of an attempt of his to like glue our relationship together, but it wasn't gonna work. But I still appreciate the gifts. And on the right here are some dolls. What do you call these again? Some plushies. They were never mine. They come from a thrift shop, I think. And I can't really get attached to that for some reason. I don't know if it's the hygiene part or more so that it used to be someone else's and that they cared about it, and it feels weird. It feels like I steal them from them, you know? I don't want that. So yeah, Mario, Yoshi, and I think that's it. So now we need to get to the shelf in my own room. Let me see if I can get a picture of that. Yes, okay, beautiful. This is kind of more classic. So my first time leaving the place I live really to go and travel on my own was to London to a Pokemon event. It was like the championship there, and it was actually really fun. And that's kind of, yeah, I went like casually and I had a great time. But I got that Wooloo there, I got that Conkeldurr there, the Swinub as well. So all these Pokemon plushies come from there. I like these little grease plants, is that what you call them? That are in the little domes. I think they're very cool. Some of the stuff here is presents I got for my birthday, like the little penguin with the frog hat and the Shrek Super Race Crash thing with box. How cool is that? Then I got a little Bangbu, again, Funko Pop. I love this, we opened that last July, the Olimar Pikmin little like jar thing. And I used to play Fallout a bunch, like Bethesda games in general, so I wanted a bobblehead because it's iconic, you know. Then there's this card on the side here. That is actually from an esports team that they weren't really an esports team. It's like something very French that doesn't really exist anywhere else, but you can see it like a streamer group. And it was before this became popular to do with like Instagram or TikTok people that rented a villa or whatever. It was more so people that had one Twitch channel and they would take turns. And it would be live 24/7. So one guy had a night shift, one guy had a morning, like afternoon, evening, etc. And they would rotate and do events together. It started a really long time ago under a different name, but then there was drama. They all kind of left. They made their own thing called Solari, and I got that card because it was like a commemorative thing they did, because they were dog shit. In esports, they were so bad. They lost everything for years. They were so ass. And then they started winning, and they won the French competition, and they even won the European competition. And so they made a card, a commemorative one, like only 500 copies were made, and I wanted one, so I bought one. And I didn't get scalped or anything. This was like the original sale. Yeah. And here for the coolest item on the shelf. I don't know if you guys know The Littlest Gifts. It's someone who makes very, very cool, and it used to be a lot of Genshin themed little figures. I don't even know how to word it. And she made me as well. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. It's super cute. I wanted to get more detail, but yeah, again, late night shot and I didn't have much light. I wanted to do this earlier, but I also wanted to finish work today first. So sorry I get these awful shots, and I'll probably reorganize it at some point and show you everything again because there's so much more to it. But yeah. Incredible work of art, and what can I say? I'm just super thankful someone made that for me and sent it to me. This was prior to the PO box, so I honestly that would fit perfectly in the scheme of things right now. And then the bottom shelf. Oh, I missed one thing also. Moonballs it's a long story. I used to love Moonballs. They had these Waboba, I think is the brand, for the swimming pool and the beach. They had these like super good, like squishy ones that you would throw around. They would bounce on the water, super sick. But these are different. These are for like indoor and dry use, I guess. And I used to watch Achievement Hunter, a little throwback for people that actually watched that maybe 10-15 years ago, 10 years ago more like, before it all went really bad. And they also really use Moonballs a lot. So I remember seeing a sale and they were like €2 each, so I bought like 12. I just have a bag of Moonballs somewhere. And under that is a Gnome Child. It's like kind of recent merch. It's not really official cool RuneScape merch. It's kind of new milking, nostalgia milking merch. But I wanted some RuneScape related stuff, and the Gnome Child is kind of fun. And yeah, RuneScape is still I guess my favorite game of all time, because it taught me everything. It taught me so much about, like, I guess even English, about social skills, about economics, just the not trust anyone. I got lured in RuneScape. Maybe I'll make it a story someday. Luring in RuneScape means like you trust someone too much and they bring you to a player versus player area and then they kill you and take all your shit. And that happened to me for the first time when I got a membership for RuneScape. And then this bottom shelf right here. See, this is when I wanted to reference the Pokemon games and the games earlier. So that's the games I couldn't get from my legendary dojo thrift shop secondhand place. And instead I had to get them myself off eBay for way more money recently. So all this like nerdy stuff is also, actually I owned a couple of those. I earned like the gold game, the crystal game, I think. I owned red, yellow, and blue, the Game Boy games. I didn't own many of the Game Boy Advance games though. And same goes for that Mario Kart game on Game Boy Advance. I actually used to own that as well. And then my cousin traded it with me, he says. I don't think he traded it. I think he took it and then gave me some garbage. But he'll never admit that, and I'll never admit the other way either, because I'm pretty sure it was just like a forced swap because he was older than me and I couldn't do anything about it. Anyway, and then there's that Eula right there. That is from the Genshin Impact concert. A friend of mine got that for me at the time. And the same goes for that passport on the side. I believe that's from Gamescom. They also got that for me. And I have my little pass right there on the far right, which is my first event pass ever that I had for the Pokemon event that I was on. So yeah, there we go. That's everything. I hope that was fun for you guys. It's a little trip down memory lane for me as well. It's the reason I keep these things, and it's also the reason I told you guys before that I started YouTube. I like keeping memories, and I think it's so pretty, it's so nice, it's so poetic almost. And is it really necessary? No. Is it a bit over-exaggerated? Yes, but I love it. It's a great hobby, and I'm hoping to add some more soon with this new Gamescom chapter, and maybe some stuff that you guys send me in the PO box, because I love it. And I have a little corkboard, well, big corkboard actually, that I plan to attach everything on, maybe some messages you guys send me, some fan art, some whatever. So there'll probably be a video about that as well as I open more. Actually, that's a good idea. We can go over this again in good light when I open the PO box stuff. Okay. Lots of love, thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for the conclusion of rednasyuly, which it feels bittersweet, but trust me, don't worry about it. There won't be a daily video, but there will still be, and I promise this, I will make more variety, chill type of stuff on rednasyuly, because that is what rednasyuly was meant to be. And yeah, even though it's kind of like a Zenless on Zero main channel at the moment, but I don't mind that either. Okay. Catch you soon. Got another story about Zenless Zero as well. I'll tell you tomorrow maybe. It depends. I'm busy. I need to edit this. It's 12:02 right now, so hopefully I'll have it out by an hour or two, and I can go to bed at 2 a.m. I'll wake up tomorrow ready to record some Zenless Zone Zero. All right, lots of love, team. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for the conclusion. Bye. 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 I don't know how to outro anymore. Bye.